Last question today. We sort of alluded to it in the second question. Is the battle between social democracy and democratic socialism one worth having? So there are two answers to this. Ideologically, there is a major difference between a social democrat who believes in a capitalist system that is well regulated. The corners are sort of sanded off to make the system work better for more people. It sets a floor, it sets a ceiling. We've talked about social democracy. That versus socializing the means of production as an actual socialist, there is a world of difference between those two ideas. So the debate between social democracy and democratic socialism is not just worth having, it's an incredibly important debate that separates drastically different worldviews. That's the theoretical answer. Now, in modern American politics, we are not at risk, or we don't have the possibility of going to democratic socialism anytime soon. I've said this before. When Donald Trump gets up in front of the State of the Union, during the State of the Union address, and says we will never be a socialist country. First of all, he doesn't know that. Things can happen over 50 years, over 30 years, over 100 years, that Donald Trump simply can't predict. So it's a dumb thing to say. But there's also no risk that we're about to become a socialist country. The serious reforms that are being discussed right now around healthcare, around inequality, around education, public transit, housing, all of these things. The risk is that we go slightly more in the direction of social democracy. And so I believe that in an academic sense, in a theoretical sense, we should be discussing social democracy versus democratic socialism. In the immediate, the goals for both are probably the same. If you are a social democrat, you want to get to universal healthcare coverage, maybe through something like Medicare for All or other types of plans that I've mentioned. If you are a democratic socialist, that still is the next step for healthcare, which gets you closer to what you ultimately want. It's an academic debate right now. It may become a practical debate at some point in the future in the United States, but we're not becoming a democratic socialist country anytime soon. There are effectively almost no democratic socialists in positions of power. Even some of them who call themselves democratic socialists are advocating policies of social democracy. So have the debate, but the next steps are very similar, whether you're a social democrat or a democratic socialist, and I hope that we can unite among making those accomplishments a reality. We've got a great bonus show for you today. Become a member or a patron to get instant access. Join at www.joinpakman.com or patreon.com/David Pakman Show.